Good afternoon. I'm JoEllen Mullins. I'm the Equestrian Director here at Potter's Ranch. And we're going to take some time today and show you around the barn and some of the teaching tools we use during summer camp and in our lesson program and also our therapeutic program. Today we're in our classroom. It's actually a stall in the barn. And since how the Lord was born in a manger, we figure this is appropriate for our program. So what we have over here is our Mac board. Mac is one of the horses here at the barn, but we have Velcro parts of the horse. So we start out with the parts on, we talk about them, explain them to the kids, and then we take all the parts off, put them in a hat. The kids get to draw it out and they get to tell us where the part goes and a little thing about the part. Below here we have some very talented staff here at Potter's Ranch. Randy Ham, our maintenance director, when I told him I wanted hobby horses, he said, "You got real ones. What do we need hobby horses for?" But we use these for different activities. Even the adventure camp kids and the dyslexia kids camp Discovery use them for Olympics. They do stick horse races, obstacle courses. They have a blast. Last year we had color jousting on the stick horses. So each one of these stick horses was painted by myself, actually. My husband, Eric, who's a maintenance department here, made the leather halters and stamped them with the Potter's Ranch brand. And the kids have a blast with them. Randy also made me this little fence that we use for our pony pals. We have a program called Pony Picks. So you can plan your birthday party or your family photos, back to school pictures, and we use this little fence in front of our minis, and you can decorate your kids, the mini, whatever. We have a lot of different backgrounds you can use and take your family photos. This item over here is a little red barn, and we use this at our petting zoo. So our petting zoo is another activity here at the ranch that you can schedule a birthday party or even an outing, a school field trip, and we do a lot of homeschool activities as well. Once the kids go through the petting zoo and they learn all about the animals, then we come back and we do a little quiz. So the kids pick a door, and when they open the door, this particular one says, "Who am I?" So in here there's shadows of the animals, and the kids will draw out a card, and they have to put the card wherever that animal is. So the kids get to each take a turn, and we have different doors. That one's on "Who am I?" This one's on animal babies. We have one on the gestation period of the animals, which we talk about as we're in the petting zoo. Down here we have predators that might be in the petting zoo. This one's animal tracks. So they learn the different, how to tell which animal they're looking at while they're at the zoo. This kind of just reiterates what they've just learned, and the kids have a blast with it by picking the doors. Over here we have our horsemanship board. This has a lot of information. I leave this up all summer, and it's funny because we'll be teaching and talking about certain things, and then at the end of the week someone will go, "Oh my gosh, it was on the board the whole time," because they just realized. So the information's there. We're not trying to keep it a secret. There's no real test here. We're basically trying to get as much information out to the kids as we can and do it in a fun way and allow them to take that information and maybe become a horse owner or breeder or even trainer in the industry later on in life. So the horse board here, this is another game that we use. I'm not quite finished with it. We're going to put a title up here. This is our horse Jeopardy board. We have different categories: herd dynamics, color, horse sense and knowledge, colors, breeds, and markings, parts of the horse, which we push that a lot because we use parts of the horse even when we're doing a riding lesson. And then stable management. And the kids, and there's 100 points to 500, so the kids get teams together and they get to pick, say, colors, breeds, and markings for 100. And on the back is a question about a different breed of horse, a different color. So the kids get to learn and have fun doing it. And sometimes they learn even though they don't realize they're having fun. We have a horse over here, Jack, who knows that I'm on camera, and apparently he wants to be too. So we're just going to step over here and meet Jack. Jack is a breeding stock paint. He's been at the ranch for several years. He was donated. Every one of our horses had their name on the stall, so all the kids know where their horse's stall is, and believe it or not, all these horses do too. When I first started here, it didn't take long for them to figure out my routine. Stop, Jack. And my routine is this, and some people may say it's not right, but my horses know where their stalls are. So when I take them out to pasture, I take them out with a lead rope and a halter. When I bring them in, I open the gate and I let them come in and they go to their stalls. And everyone goes to their own stall. On occasion, Jack, Mr. I Want the Attention, will go along and take a bite out of everyone else's food before he gets to his, but he definitely knows which stall's his. And he definitely likes the attention. We're going to step into the feed room first. I'm going to show you, we have a board here that we keep track of the horses being turned out, exercise, trail rides, lessons, anything that's happening. As you can see, the board's not very full right now, but that's because we're not running. We have been shut down like everyone. Our feed room is just that. We keep a big board here with the horses' names on it, what they get food-wise, and how much, and it's actually laid out the same way the barn is. That way, if we have a volunteer that wants to help feed or fill in on my days off, they have everything they need here to be able to do that job. We keep this room normally locked because this is the room that we keep our horse meds in. So during camp, this room, and you'll see it's got a padlock on it. The padlock is so that the kids aren't having access to the room that has the horse meds in it. So I'm going to lock that for you real quick. And then we're going to go to the tack room. So our tack room goes through to both sides, and we're coming through on the western side. So every one of our horses has their own saddle. They have their own saddle pad and their own equipment, as you might have seen in one of our other videos where we've done grooming or saddling. Every horse has their own equipment. They have their own bridle. They have their own saddle. Every horse also has, and this is another one of our teaching tools, they have a little horse above their saddle that's painted to match the horse's color and markings. This teaches the kids to identify their horse, and also the horse's name's on there, so not only do they get the color and the marking of the horse, they also understand the names. We did the same thing with the bridles. This is reiterating again our kids learning colors, names. They're all in alphabetical order. We have one more thing that we added to several of them, and that was that we found even though the names were up there and the color of the horse, we would get to bridling and someone would have, I'd say, okay, whose bridle do you have? I got Ringo's. No, you don't. Whose bridle do you have? I got Ringo's. I did. I got it up there. They didn't have Ringo's. They had Rebels because they're right next to each other. So we also added the crosses. Now the crosses were made by our activity director. Each color cross is a different color on the bridle, and they have the same cross on their saddles, so that if they get to their horse and they don't have the matching cross on their bridle and saddle, we know that they've gotten someone else's equipment. We have the same thing done over here in our English section, all of our English saddles and then our English bridles for our horses. The horses are painted again to match the actual horse. Below you'll see, again, we have an awesome talented staff here, Randy Hammond, Carlin Adams, Eric Mullins, the three of them. I said, when I say I need, they start going, oh no. I said, I need some place to put my grooming equipment. And I want a shelf. And they said, well, do you need a counter too? And I said, not really. And they said, but we could do a counter too. And I said, okay, so how about some shelves? And so I got this, which I'm totally happy with because now we use this as our volunteer information center. So during the off season, we have our volunteer sign-in book. We have our calendars for the 2 months. We have anything coming up activity-wise that the volunteers need to know about that they might want to sign up for or help volunteer with. And then during summer camp, we change this out, and this is where the kids, when they come in, will drop their anything they bring with them. Usually they bring a book bag or a backpack with whatever they want to bring to camp for that day. So they'll lay their backpacks on here, and they stay there, and they always start the day off in the indoor arena, which we'll show you at another day. But we have this really cool system for our helmets over there as well. All of our helmets are color-coded. We have a lot of color coding going on here so that the kids know exactly what size helmet they wear without even looking, and then they're separated over there in a way to put them back. These are actually, our large helmets are the arrows. We have dream catchers on the medium. But the kids love it because they always say, oh, that's not my helmet. My helmet has the dream catcher, or my helmet has. So other than that, we've got supplies there, English saddles here, and then this side of the barn over here, more horses. Obviously, we've got lots of horses. Other than that, that kind of concludes. I guess we do have a wash bay here, which is normal. Our bulletin board, we're trying to keep a different message all summer long. It's kind of dark right now because of the, it's not much light out today. But we try and put a different message on. When camp first starts, it's kind of hard because you'll get, even though we keep them so busy, they're grooming, they're learning herd dynamics, they're learning horse handling, they're going nonstop. You'll still have one or two that'll say, I'm bored, I need my phone. So I was like, I don't know what to do about this. I found this, and I put it up on the board, and all of a sudden it stopped. It went away, there was no one bored, and I think the Lord had that in mind the whole time. I have one other thing I want to show you, and that is that all of the stalls have these little black leather crosses on them. I gotta take his halter off. And on the cross is the Potter's Ranch logo. The crosses were donated by one of our volunteers, Linda Dietrich, and then I painted the logo on them, and we hang them on each one of the stall doors. Each horse also has their own halter and lead rope on the stall door for emergency purposes. If we would have to get the horses out during a summer storm or fire, Lord forbid, we would have the equipment we need right there. But the leather crosses are there kind of as a token as what we do here at the ranch, and that is that we try and promote the Lord and his creatures and it's his horses. He totally has given us an awesome tool to use with these kids. The first summer I was here, I put these crosses on, and a young man said to me, I walked over and he was playing with it, and he started to take it off the door, and I said, oh, no, leave it on there. And he looked like he'd been caught at doing something wrong, and that's not my intent at all. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, and he walked away, and nothing else was said. Then I saw him a little bit later, and I said to him, hey, you know why those crosses are on there, don't you? And he said, no, ma'am. I said, well, those crosses are on there so that every time you open the door of the stall and bring out a horse, you're riding with the Lord. And he said, really? That's cool. That was at the beginning of the week, and then towards the end of the week, we have she is my horse, and so she's jealous that I'm standing next to him and not her. That's a girl thing. Anyway, we're on a trail ride, and that's the first time out in the open, and one of the other girls on the trail ride was really nervous, and the more nervous she got, the more nervous her horse was getting. And I was trying to console her and tell her to calm down and breathe, because when she did, then her horse would relax also. And it wasn't working. And then this boy, who had been playing with the crosses, out of nowhere said to the little girl, Katie, do you know why those crosses are on the stall doors? And she dried up her tears. She was actually tearing up, and she said, what? He goes, do you know why those crosses are on the stall doors? And she goes, no. He said, well, I didn't either. But Miss JoEllen told me that they're there so that every time we open the stall door, we're riding with the Lord. So if they have that kind of faith here at the ranch, shouldn't we? She dried up her tears and she rode her horse back to the barn. I was crying, but she was done. So it was amazing that little one comment made in the beginning of the week lasted through the whole week for him to think about, and then he brought it back up, and the Lord used it to calm that girl's fears. So, and as you can see, like I said, this horse, she gets jealous if I'm around another one. That's all I have for you today, and if there's any questions you have, feel free to contact me. JoEllen at pottersranch.org is my email. And you know that our website is pottersranch.org. So we also have a Facebook page. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/Potters Ranch Riding Center. And every day we post something from the barn. Amos, our little donkey over there, does Tell All Tuesday, where he tells all kinds of barn secrets about the other horses. Only a donkey should know. And then we have Wisdom Wednesday, Meet the Herd Monday. Every Monday we tell a different, we profile a different horse and tell about them and their breed and where we got them and a little bit about them. And so you get to learn and meet the horses before you actually get here. But if you've never been to Potter's Ranch, please come out. You will not be disappointed. 640 acres of amazing God's green earth. It's just amazing. I appreciate your time today and hope to see you at the ranch.
Jessica here at Potter's Ranch again. Today I wanted to introduce you to our miniature donkey. This is Amos. He was donated last year by actually my aunt, Kelly Foley of Fort Wayne, Indiana. His name we changed to Amos. Amos means to carry a burden. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means. JoEllen's going to go ahead and tell you a little bit of a story.
So the story about the donkey and how he got his cross started with Mary riding a donkey into Bethlehem when she was getting ready to have baby Jesus. And then later, as the Lord got older and he was going into Jerusalem and knew that he was going to be a sacrifice for the world, he rode a male donkey into Jerusalem. At the time that they crucified Jesus, the donkey felt really bad. He knew that something bad was going to happen to the Lord, and he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay. So he turned his back because he didn't want to watch, but stayed until the sun went down. And so as the shadow of the cross fell across his back, it remains there to this day. And the donkey is the only breed in the world of the animal world that has that cross down their back. So Jessica can show you. It goes down his shoulders, straight down his back. And then he also has some unusual markings on his legs. He's got the barring that's most desert animals have. Donkeys don't drink as much water as horses, and they don't eat as good of food, although you can tell Amos gets good food. And we have a funny fact about his name as well. When we picked his name, we knew that to carry a burden was a fitting name for him. But in one of our youth groups was out here, one of the boys came through the barn and he looked at the name and he said, Amos, add me on Snapchat. We never even thought about that, but Amos loves it and says if you want to add him on Snapchat, you're free to do so.
So a little bit about Amos too. He's 6 years old. He just turned 6 this year. Like I said, he's been here at the ranch for a year. She did talk about his cross. And just like Doc, he's got what's a dorsal stripe down his back in like a black color, and then it goes across the side of his shoulder blades. Actually, donkeys or any type of mule are protective animals. So the two minis that I introduced before, Nera and Lux, that's who he's kind of concentrating on right now. He is very protective of them just to make sure that no other animal tries to get to them. And so that's something really special about being here. We put him out in the petting zoo a lot so that he protects the chickens and the ducks and the sheep and goats, just so that nothing gets in there. And he takes his job very seriously. So we really appreciate him. And another fun thing about him is that he lets you know when you get here in the morning or if you've missed any feeding time. He does a real big yell. It's a hee-haw kind of that's loud and can be heard all across the ranch. So thanks for watching.